We're back, baby. It's the charity stripe. Hit your free throws because they are free. Fisher, Tosopoulos, DJ, Nikki, Snacks, Kreider. It is Tuesday. It's July 18th. Gentlemen, how you doing today? How's Tuesday been? Good start. Monday was I was a little sleepy yesterday.
Definitely a little sleepy as well. But you know what? I took melatonin last night. Slept great.
Nice. Love to hear that out
Did
of
you
you,
have do
Nick.
you have some residual sleepiness from taking the tonin or no?
Um, no, it's not that bad, honestly. I feel like that happens to a lot of people, but it kind of knocks me out and gets me nice and spry in the morning.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that for you. Yeah. How about you, Toss? Feeling spry on this Tuesday?
Feeling spry every day.
Okay. Love that.
Every day is a new day to record with the boys and talk about some sports.
It is, man. You know what? Life could be so much more difficult. A lot of good stuff last week, a lot of good stuff this week. Sports, football, all that is coming to a head. But one of our favorite times of the year is the MLB trade deadline. We love it. We love trades. We love offseason. We love the general manager aspect of things. And the biggest fish to fry, or maybe the biggest fish ever in the history of, I would say, MLB trade deadlines. We thought it was Soto last year with him going to the pods, Nick, but I think Ohtani being on the market might outdo him, even if it is a 1 year or half season rental. But before that, we didn't finish our NL teams, that buyers, sellers. I think we could dumb it down a little bit. We had 5 options yesterday. We'll only do 3 today. Buyers, stand pat, or sellers, okay, in the NL. We'll start with the Atlanta Braves. Buy, stand pat, or sell.
But we're only doing 3 teams. We're starting with the Braves, the best team in baseball.
We're just going down the line.
At least,
The NL.
but 3 teams. Wait, we're doing every team or 3 teams?
Every team. We did
No,
every team.
every team in the NL. Just 3
Oh.
categories now. Getting rid of the
3
buy
categories.
high, buy
3
low.
We
Got
got
it.
rid of the
Sell
buy high,
Misheard you.
sell. Yeah. Sorry. So buy, you're good. Buy, stand pat, or sell. We got rid of the intermediate categories. So the Atlanta Braves. What do you guys think they do? Buy, stand pat, or sell?
I think they buy, but like not super crazy. You did say that they might be in an Ohtani, but I mean, this is a team that is like pretty set going forward. I mean, they have a bright future and they are the best team in baseball. And there's not really much more they need to do to really separate themselves from the rest of the pack. I mean, they're clearly the best team in the NL. What's going to get them, over the hump to win the World Series? Maybe adding another starter, not over the hump. I mean, they won the World Series already, but like to get another, starter to solidify that rotation a little bit more. But their offense, I mean, it's one of the best offenses in baseball.
Well, let me ask
Yeah.
you. Sorry, before you go, Alex. I just want to, because Nick, you said definitely the best in the NL. You don't, because you thought they were definitely the best team in baseball maybe a week ago. Do you still think that, or there's?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Just wanted to.
But I'm just saying, like when you get to the World Series, like you're playing with almost an equally matched team for the most part.
By and large, they've gotten there. Alex, buy, sell, stand pat.
Yeah, I think they're buyers. I agree with Nick. But I also think that the interesting thing about the next segment that we're going to get into in Shohei trade talks is that this isn't just a move for this year. It's a move for the future of your franchise and what it means for the potential value of your franchise as well. So we can get further into that when we talk about Ohtani. But I think in the context of trading for him, you're not just looking at this year to compete. You're looking at future years to compete as well. But certainly this year, I agree. They're the best team in baseball right now. And I don't see that changing much and them falling, lower in the power rankings than like the number 3 team by the time the season ends.
Mm-hmm. The one thing on Ohtani that I will say is that there's no guarantee that he re-signs with you if you trade for him. So you are taking a gamble, right? Yes, you get him for half of this season, but it's somewhat of a risk, right? And there are some teams that might, kick the tires around that have no intention of re-signing him. I mean, like,
sure.
I mean, we look at the Yankees, if they really want to do it, I mean, I'm sure they would love to do it, but maybe not. I think the thing that we've mentioned time and time again is that he really wants to stay on the West Coast. And I think that's really true. So if it's an East Coast team that's trading for him, you're kind of against the corner a little bit, against the wall. So you're going to have to really pull out all the stops.
Yeah, we're going to get deep into Ohtani trade talks. I think for the Braves, I think they'll probably keep it in the ballpark of what they typically do, like trade for a fourth outfielder, trade for some reliever help. Just kind of get some more bodies in the building is what they did in their last World Series run. How about the Fish in Miami? How about the Phils? How about the Mets? How about the Nats? Run down the NL East for me, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Miami definitely, I think, will add some players. They're got a wild card spot locked up right now, so that could always fall apart. I think right now they're on a little bit of a skid, so they could use some offensive help. They're the lowest scoring team in that division, so I mean, maybe look and see if Cody Bellinger is available. I mean, he's definitely going to be available, but like Cody Bellinger, guys of that caliber who are kind of like a cheap rental. Phil's same thing. I mean, they're half game out of the wild card. They, have been kind of hit and miss all season. They start off really slow, but they're putting it back together. Not also really a high run scoring team, so I'd like to see them get more offense. Mets, I mean, it's a disaster. Sell, and then Washington's Washington. So you get what you can. You have a young team, but any vets that you have or any rentals, go out and sell.
Alex, what do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think I agree across the board. The only thing I wanted to add in there is we're not really talking about Arias watch anymore because he's at a measly 378 now. So the hopes of hitting 400, I think, are well behind us.
It was fun though.
Yeah, it was fun, and you're seeing how even a 20-point difference in his batting average is affecting, how many runs they're able to score. That guy leads off for them. He's a really important part of their offense, and I mean, he's still having a fantastic year. It's not trying to besmirch him, but I agree. They need another bat in that lineup.
If he's not going to hit 400, can he please not take the hit title away? Because I want Bo Bichette to get it.
What's that looking like right now? How far
is it back? There's a five hit gap. Bo's in second, and then Arias is in first.
Oh, that's fine. You're not in bad shape at that at all. I know that's one of the bets you have. You're looking good in steals and Strider K's. Or looking okay in steals, but Strider K's is solid for you. Strider's picked it back up a bit. I'll add to that. The Marlins, I'm with you guys. I love the Bellinger pick. They try to put Jazz Chisholm in center. He's been on the IL for the most of the season, so putting Bellinger in center would be nice for the Marlins. Add some pop there. I also think they need to replace Gene Segura at third base. Phillies are very peculiar. Like they should, by all intents and purposes, they have Nola, Wheeler, Walker, Ranger, Suarez. Like they should really have they should be better than they are. Their pitchers are just underperforming a bit, especially Nola and Wheeler, who find their ERAs at 4 and 4.3 for Nola. So if they could continue to drop their ERAs and have some better outings, I think just a reliever help for them. Candelario for the Nationals, got to move off of him. I don't know if they'll trade him in division to the Marlins, but that's a third baseman. And for the Mets, they're not trading Pete Alonso. I don't know if they could trade Scherzer's contract, but David Robertson, the closer, I would imagine would be on the move for the Mets to a team that needs a reliever. Let's keep the train moving, guys. Let's keep it moving. Reds, Brewers, the two top teams in the NL Central. What do you have them doing?
Toss kicks off.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, the Reds are a pretty easy answer. You didn't expect to be here. You can stand pat and let your young guys get some experience. You'd expect that they'll get to the playoffs if they win obviously, if they win the division, they will be. But even at a wild card spot, that's still within reach, within grasp if they were to, secede the division to the Brewers. But I would stand pat if I were them. And then the Brew Crew, I could see a buy low for them. Just bring in another arm or maybe another bat. I think they've kind of overperformed in regards to hitting categories. And so maybe a guy like Candelario, who you just mentioned, not in division, but within the National League, they could always use another bat.
Their lineup sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's impressive that they've who's been great.
Yeah, I'm with you. Agreed on both. And then of course Chicago, they'll sell. I think they'll get an arm and a leg for Stroman. I think they'll get a good asking price for Bellinger right now too. Pittsburgh, similar position. Their team is a little bit younger, so there's a couple of vets there that can be moved. Maybe look and see if Mitch Keller's available. And then St. Louis, it's going to be decision time. Are they really willing to part ways with Goldschmidt, Paul DeYoung, Jordan Hicks? There's guys on that roster that have definitely been able to play at good levels before in their career that just haven't necessarily been as good this year. So they can help out some teams. And they could honestly rebuild their entire franchise this season if they wanted to.
Well, and on that point, I'm looking at the top 100 prospects on baseball. Some guys have graduated. They don't have the new drafted guys in there. There's going to be adjustments. I think Baseball America has, but on MLB.com, as it stands right now, and they update pretty decently. The Cardinals, who typically have a great farm system, they don't have a top 40 prospect. So I think, like you're saying, Nick, Arenado's not getting any younger. The Reds are only getting older and more experienced. The Brewers, we've been waiting for them to sell for a long time, but nonetheless, like they still have Burns. Woodruff could still come back. The Yelich has kind of come back to form. I don't know if they're necessarily going to sell anyway. And quite frankly, the Pirates are getting good. The Pirates are about to hit their window of like, hey, we've drafted really well. All our young guys are coming up. So if you're the Cardinals, you kind of got to crap or get off the pot here, and you missed your window. So Flaherty, Miles Mikolas, your Greek fellow Toss, he's pitched pretty well this season. I say they get rid of their entire rotation, trade as much as you can. If you can trade Goldschmidt, you could trade Arenado, go for it. And then, I agree with you guys on all the other teams. But the Brewers really, if the Brewers want to not only win the division, but actually contend, like they have to make a move for a bat. Let's go to the West.
Yeah. The one last thing I'll say on the Pirates is they have a lot of young guys, and obviously those guys have to continue to develop. But I also feel like they have a lot of power bats who can't get on base and hit for average. So if they wanted to split off of a couple of those younger bats, especially guys that aren't like everyday starters. I mean, like Sawinski's been awesome this season, but like he can't get on base, like O'Neill has been great, but he can't get on base. Like they just, you got to get on base, score runs. Like we keep saying that. And it's just one of the things that I'm looking at their young talent and not necessarily locking in on, in comparison, the Reds have a guy like McLean and a guy like Ellie who both get on base. Of course, Ellie steals bags. Like they're not, just power bats. So I get wary now after watching the Padres this season. And I know that like Soto, Tatis, Xander, like are supposed to be, those are good hitters, not just power hitters, but something for teams to look out for in the future. I know hitting dingers is really exciting, but you got to get guys on, score more runs. So,
hey man, so the Sox are staying competitive. All right, let's go to the NL West. Dodgers, Giants, D-backs, Pods, Rockies.
Everyone's buying besides the Rockies, I think. And they should not. I don't think the Padres should be buyers. I think they should be sellers. You're 8 games out of the wild card on July 18th, 10.5 games out of the wild card on July 18th. If you're any other team, you're selling. But the crappy part about it is that you have this roster that you think can turn it around. And you've been saying it all year long. You could still turn it around. We could still turn it around. We're a couple of, big runs away. If they are not above 500, if they are not 500, 6 games below 500 now, by the trade deadline, they have to sell. They have to. They
gotta
cannot.
win. They gotta go on a streak then, dude.
Exactly. Like they have to. And I don't understand, because look, Blake Snell's a free agent next year. You're probably not going to re-sign him. Josh Hader's a free agent next year. You're probably not going to re-sign him. Juan Soto is a free agent after next year. His value is not going to be higher than it is right now next year. So you replenish the farm as much as you can. Go out and get depth. I mean, look, depth has been one of the biggest problems with the Padres for a long time. Yes, We're super top heavy with Tatis and Machado and Bogarts, who's been iffy. But the back half of the lineup is always just like filling in guys that get called up from AAA. And honestly, the AAA roster is like not that impressive, And yeah, we do have a couple of top prospects, but it's not a deep farm. Go out and just replenish the farm and maybe even get guys who are like, semi MLB ready, go and see like what the Orioles have, what they want to give up for Soto, or see what the Rangers are interested in giving up, teams that are like really good that have some young guys that can, slot in right away. So
I would say, I think I would call Texas. Texas would probably be my first call for Josh Hader. I know they just brought in Chapman, and I know their bullpen isn't terrible, but their bullpen stand to be a lot better. And if they really want to take out the Rays, they're going to have to get into a pitching duel with them. And I think it's going to come down to the bullpen. So the Padres can go to the Rangers and try to buy some of their potential MLB ready guys.
Long-standing relationship with Chris Young there too, so he's going to pick up the phone, and you're going to have a conversation. Which is always a good place to start.
I mean, would love to see if Wyatt Langford's available.
So would a lot of people. Yeah, I would.
I can't imagine that's the guy. It's like,
here's the thing though, and we'll get into it obviously.
If it's Snell and Hader for Wyatt Langford.
Yeah. It's decisions are going to have to be made. And obviously you've got Carter, you've got Rocker, Leiter too has had a really nice return from injury. There's
Cunha, Owen White.
Yep.
There's 2 top 50 prospects.
I just think maybe we should just take it to the next segment here. You could go talk to the Padres only if it's a consolation prize if you're not offering those prospects for the number one, for the big fish, for the biggest fish.
Okay.
Because you have an enticing offer, like you do in comparison to a lot of other teams. You're in win now mode. You're in win in the next few years. No state income tax. So for the re-sign, that's a massive amount of cash that Ohtani would be able to hold on to. I think the Rangers, I know we talked about it a few days ago, didn't necessarily feel like they had to make the move, but if everyone is in the race, you have to present yourself and you have to present your case, and you can present a much more enticing case than a lot of other teams can.
That's how I feel. If you are contending, trading in division would be crazy. That would cost you a lifetime. But if you are in contention, right, and you're vying for a playoff spot, outside of the Reds, making the playoffs is not good enough. Like, you want to win the Orioles. Yes, they're, I guess, a bit ahead of schedule, but at this point, they want to win the World Series. They're a top 3 team in the AL.
I think Holiday's untouchable though.
So this is what I wanted to go with you guys. So if you're the Orioles, let's just start with Baltimore. Untouchable, of course.
Yep.
Colton Cowser, though, like your number 2 prospect, like for a half-year rental, can you see a team doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
because I think the drop off from Holiday to Colton is pretty deep,
pretty substantial. Like, do the Giants have to give up Luciano and Kyle Harrison? Like, if you're the Angels, are you asking for both those guys?
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're always asking. You're asking for everyone's top prospects for the Angels.
Okay, if you're the Diamondbacks, would you trade Drew Jones?
It's tough.
Look, I just the way that I'm looking at it is, you're not going into this trade without the assumption that you get to at least talk to Shohei and his camp and have a verbal agreement that he's going to re-sign in the offseason. I mean, you might not have that luxury, but you have to, right? That has to be a part of the deal, in my opinion.
I think, like I was saying earlier too, I think some teams probably have a suspicion whether or not he would be willing to re-sign with them. And the Giants are a team that I really think if they were to trade for him and they were to get him in the building early, they would be able to lock him up.
Judge was going to go to, sorry, I just cracked out my tooth. Judge was going to go to the Giants. And I think had he not been a Yankee, he probably would have. Had he been any other franchise before the Yankees, obviously the Yankees take precedent for a lot of players, over certain franchises. But had Aaron Judge been on, let's say, the Rays, he would have been a Giant this season. I think any other team other than the Yankees, he would have been a Giant had he started at. So I think the Giants, they're on the West Coast. It's a good area to live in if you have money, which you will. They were willing to throw $400 million at Judge. Everyone and their mother has already said that this guy's a $500-600 million guy. You're going to spare no expense.
And he will own that little bay over there, hidden bombs in there. Don't name it after him.
Ohtani Bay. Yeah, I mean, if you're the Giants, we talked about Barry Bonds a lot. For what it's worth, the franchise really hasn't come to his defense. and hasn't really backed him up and been supportive, it seems. And I'd imagine they'd want a new lefty power hitter in there to kind of take over and be that next face of the franchise. They really haven't had a bat face of the franchise since Barry Bonds. I know Buster Posey was great, but I'm talking about a guy that really mashes. Buster Posey's a Hall of Famer, but a guy that really, sends it out of the park, like Nick's saying, into the bay. I would say, looking at the prospect list, looking where the Giants are 2 games from the Dodgers. They're so well run, dude. They just find guys. They're first in the wild card. I think it definitely starts with San Francisco, where Ohtani can go.
Yeah.
Any other? Do you guys want to make your ranking quickly
of where he could go?
Yeah, quick ranking. Ohtani spots. Where can he go?
So in deadline or free agency?
Let's go deadline. Free agency is a whole other animal.
Let's throw in there that this morning was released that the Angels owner does not want to make a deal with the Dodgers. So the Dodgers are out of the mix.
I think the Dodgers took themselves out of the mix already. But okay, I love that. I didn't see that. Thank you. So Dodgers out. Let's run down the teams and just say if they're in or out.
Okay.
I won't include the teams that are obviously out.
I honestly think the Giants are number 1.
Okay. I'm with you. Giants number 1. Who's number 2? Like Arizona?
I mean, it's hard not to have, for me, it's hard not to have Baltimore high up there just with the prospects that they can offer. And again, like you brought up, which is a good point. If he doesn't want to trade him to the Dodgers, who are right down the street, he probably doesn't want to, he's not over the moon about trading within division. So the Rangers have to be bumped down a little bit because of that. But the package that they can offer is very real and it's legitimate. And I think it puts them in relative contention. And obviously with the DeGrom injury, that just quickens the timeline for what they need to do. They need an arm. And of course, you're never going to say no to the bat.
Yeah, I would. It's going to hurt me to say this, but I think I'd put the Yankees at 3.
I agree with that.
I think with the Martian, Jason Dominguez, the outfielder, and if they want to include Anthony Volpe, like they have, Jake Ellenbogen threw up I said it wasn't enough, but it was because they got Brandon Drury in the deal too. But what the Yankees could offer, I think is pretty hefty.
I think the Rays got to be considered as well.
I'm with you.
They're a team that has been to the World Series a couple times, in the last, 15 years or so, and just have always, fallen flat. Have had great regular seasons, good postseason runs, but just like one impact player away, I feel like, from winning it. And this is a year where they can't afford not to win it if they get there. Because I don't know how many more times are you going to get lucky and get there. And look, their GM is one of the best in the game. Peter Benix, I think. Mm-hmm. He's been able to home grow talent like no other. So, if you're a guy that's confident in your farm, and you're willing to give up some pieces because that your development there is good, then go, see what you can do, try to give the best offer possible and see if you can get this guy in Tampa and just win this year.
Yeah. They've also missed on some big fishes in past. Like they wanted Freddie Freeman. They wanted Matt Olson. They wanted Matt Chapman. They didn't get any of those guys. And now they have the ability to trade for him rather than talking to this guy in free agency and trying to win him over. Which, when he was in arbitration or before he went into arbitration, he said he wouldn't even get into conversations with the New York Yankees. The Yankees, he said he wouldn't even talk to them, declined to even hear what their pitch was. So if you can change your own luck, and change your stars by trading for this guy and you have the ability to do so and to put the cherry on top, like Nick's saying, I think the Rays make a lot of sense.
Yeah. I'll quickly throw up what the potential package could be if you're the Rays. I think the Rays I think you bring up an unbelievable point. We've said this before, like how many times can you come in second? How many times can you almost get there? And it is Peter Bendix, and he went to Tufts University. The Eric
Go Jumbos.
Spoelstra, shout out John Fisher, the Eric Spoelstra of baseball. He started as an intern in 2009.
I would
Pretty
love
remarkable.
nothing more for the Padres to fire AJ Preller and bring him in.
I feel bad. I feel bad for Preller. Like he's tried like to do a million things, but it's none of it's worked.
From all accounts that I've heard, and this is from a lot of like fan chatter, but also, our good friend Heath Bell, that he's the type of GM that is just way too involved, where he doesn't give enough power to his managers, that he is the one that, makes the lineups and hands in a couple of lineups, for the manager to assess, and just does like Bruce Bochy. This is just a glaring like red flag for me. From San Diego, lives in Poway, managed the Padres for a number of years, didn't even want to interview for the position because AJ Preller. He did not want to have to work for AJ Preller. And all the guys that AJ Preller's brought in, besides Bob Melvin for the most part, were first-year managers. Andy Green, Jace Tingler, these guys were puppets. They were able to be, not manipulated, but like they just did what daddy told them to do. And so when you have a GM that is way too involved and just kind of is trying to wear all the hats and trying to make all the decisions, I think it messes up the feng shui. You need a manager that's super involved. And I think Bob is taking it back a little bit, Bob Melvin. However, I really think the root of our problems has been AJ Preller. I mean, he's the common denominator for every single bad season we've had in the last 15 years.
And you've brought in, I mean, how many guys have we seen superstars come through there? Like not even this group of guys, the Hosmer contract, the Kimbrel trade, the Upton move. Like we've seen him make Kemp. Yeah, we've seen it time and time again. Unfortunately, we thought the Pods could be in it for Ohtani. It's not looking like it. At least maybe they'll have a shot in free agency. If the Rays want to include their top prospect, he's a second baseman, third baseman. You have Carson Williams right here as a shortstop if you're the Rays, and you have Wander Franco over there. Like he's a piece that's available or should be. Curtis Mead, like he's in AAA. And then this guy Kyle Manzardo. I mean, the Rays have guys in the top 50 that they can offer. To the Angels that are MLB ready players. And look, you're never going to get enough for this guy. You can't replace him. He's a generational talent. And someone said, oh, you can't, the Red Sox traded Babe Ruth. They'll be cursed forever. Well, they're already cursed in my opinion. They've had Trout. They've had who can't stay healthy, unfortunately. They've had Ohtani. Rendon contract, horrible. Hamilton contract, horrible. Pujols contract, horrible. It's all flopped for the Angels. It's all been a disaster.
Awful.
I have
so bad.
Awful. So bad.
I just like we talk about it and harp on it all the time. I just do not know how you can be an organization that have Ohtani and Trout and cannot win a championship, let alone get to the playoffs. Like it is so absurd that these are two of the best baseball players that we will ever see in our lifetime, and they cannot even win a playoff series.
Let me ask you something though, just to kind of go off that. What would you say is the best run organization over the last decade?
In baseball or all sports?
Baseball.
Over the last decade.
Maybe a couple.
I mean, okay. Like, this is going to be controversial. Cheating scandal aside, they probably could have won the World Series without cheating. I think the Astros have been one of the best, because they are one of the teams that are fully like homegrown all the time. The guy gets too good, they let him walk. I mean, they look Cole, Verlander, they had great success there. Let them walk, get their big paydays, and they still are competitive.
Not to mention that in 2013, a pivotal thing happened for that franchise that they initiated moving to the AL West. That was their own idea, and it made a lot of sense to do so. But obviously the implications of what the team would become in that division and dominating that division in the last 10 years is a huge part of their success getting to the playoffs, giving them an opportunity to then win 2 World Series. I would say the Dodgers are probably in that mix for me as well.
Dodgers, Braves. I was begging a question. That's the answer I wanted, was the Astros. So my answer, to kind of like a small rebuttal would be like the Angels have been in the same division for pretty much Trout's entire tenure and now Ohtani's entire tenure with what we could deem a top 3 run organization in baseball. Not to mention, I know the A's have been pretty bad the past 2 years, but the A's have been competitive. Mariners were good last year. The Jers had their time early. They've been bad. Now they've come back and they've just spent money in the right places. But yes, the Rangers have brought in Semien and they brought in Seager, 2 really good signings, but they made other really good moves. Gray, Eovaldi, Dane Dunning. They got him. They got, Andrew Haney was a nice pickup. Adolis Garcia, homegrown. Nate Lowe, homegrown. Josh Young, homegrown. All these guys are Jonah Heim, homegrown. Like, they have good homegrown talent. Like, you can't, like, what the Red Sox are doing right now, and I thought they'd be bad, but they've got some good homegrown young guys that have come up through their system that, like, okay, that's why they're competitive or staying somewhat competitive. Look at the Jays, look at the Rays, look at the O's. Like, that's how you win in baseball. You cannot buy your way to a World Series. It's so rare. And I think the Pods fell a bit into that trap. I think that in a valiant effort, and I think the Angels have fallen into that trap. They've thrown money around like crazy. And Hamilton was an MVP. Pujols was the best player we arguably have ever seen at that point. Rendon was coming off a World Series MVP caliber season, or MVP caliber game, seasons. They're making the moves to the guys, but you're putting all your eggs in that basket. Remember the Mariners signed Robinson Cano? It's you're not ready for that, dude. You're not ready for that. You're not a well-run organization. When the Angels are really good, Anderson, Gloss, Salmon, Erst, I'm just naming dudes that we would know and we would relish naming if we were having beers and chewing tobacco. But for our pod right now, no one gives a hoot about those guys anymore, although they had great careers. But that's how they did it. They grew these guys.
That signing big free agents like that when you're not ready, it's kind of a weird comparison, but it's almost like drafting a quarterback when your team is just not ready.
It's not a weird comparison.
You're wasting, that 4-year contract on that rookie quarterback when the roster is completely not ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's not a weird comparison. It's the exact comparison because it's true. You can't go out and sign guys in baseball if your team's not ready. You can't make that big splash. If the Nationals, they wouldn't, but we've seen them throw money around. If they went and signed Ohtani, it's y'all are not ready for that, bro.
Yeah, but I also think it's a good owner and a good GM win on the fringes too. They win on the edges. It's not just the stars. That's not how you win a World Series. That helps you win a World Series, and you need that. You need those guys to step up. But in 2018, Josh, who was the World Series MVP?
Pierce.
Exactly. That guy's a journeyman. You have to build around the guys in the right way, and that's one thing they've never done.
We played it. Yeah, Nick and I played a game one of the videos we're gonna post. Nick and I were playing who's the World Series MVP. It's tough, remember, because some of these dudes are who is the World Series MVP for the Braves? Jorge Soler. He's in the Marlins now, but that was the 4th outfielder they required.
Is Steven Pierce even playing anymore?
No, he's not playing anymore. He's done.
The Red Sox.
Yeah.
No, he's done. He's Toast Malone.
He's
these guys.
He's 42 years old because he was 37 when that series was going on.
Those guys see better pitches, and so you get better opportunities. But regardless, and that's how the Braves did it that year. They brought in outfielders. They brought in Rosario. They brought in Soler, and all of a sudden, they didn't have Acuna, but they had Jock Peterson, Rosario, Duvall, Soler. They can mix, ride a hot hand in your outfield. And that's how, going back to my Sox quickly, that's how the Red Sox are solid right now. Our outfield, Jarren Duran, homegrown guy, really good. Verdugo, pretty much homegrown. We got him in the Mookie deal. Yoshida was a really fringe signing that I was why did we do that? But unbelievable. One of the best offseason moves outside of Sean Murphy going to the Braves. And then now we have Adam Duvall. We have a good rotation of outfielders. Guys can DH, guys can sit, it matters. Give me a fit here for the fifth team though. The Giants are 1 for Ohtani, Orioles 2, and then we'll get to some football in games. Yankees 3, Rays 4. The other 3 teams for the fifth spot: Brewers, Marlins, Red Sox. Are any of those 3 teams in your fifth spot, or in it though? Who is it?
Out of all of those teams, I would say the Red Sox. Just because I think they want to make a move, and they brought in Yoshida, and look, you're only a game and a half out of the wild card. So maybe move the chips in to see if it works. I don't know if you want to give up Marcelo Mayer, but yeah, I could see them doing it.
I'm giving up anybody but Mayer and Roman Anthony, but Blyce, Nick York, I would even give up Tristan Casas. He's MLB ready. He's really started to put it together at first base for us. I would consider throwing him in the mix. Like the Yankees, to me, like if you're the Angels, like definitely the Martian and definitely kind of Volpe. Like Gleyber Torres isn't doing it anymore. But like that's how. But like you want to win the World Series. You want Ohtani. Like this is where it starts. Like okay, I'm not getting Jackson Holiday, but coming out with something. All right, good stuff.
I just
guys.
think that you're going to say that the Yankees are going to give up Volpe, but you're not going to say that the Sox aren't going to have to give up Marcelo Mayer. Like it's Shohei Ohtani.
No,
they're not making that deal. If
we could offer,
that's
they would make the deal because we could offer more across the board. But if I knew we were re-signing Ohtani, sorry, Mayer, I would give up Mayer in a heartbeat. Heartbeat if I knew we were re-signing Ohtani.
Yeah, of course.
No
yeah, I mean,
asked.
I still think the Rangers, and I'll throw out just the Reds as well, just as far as what they can give up, is more enticing than the Red Sox, than the Brewers, and whoever else that you just named.
If Ohtani was like, I'm re-signing in Cincinnati for 10 years, would you swap Elly De La Cruz for him?
No.
But that's okay. But Elly De La Cruz isn't in the package that I'm talking about. And
I know.
Neither is McLean, but anyone else is. Anyone else.
Hey, you got to Steer is a real good starting point. That guy can play all over the diamond. He's a good ball player. I like Steer a lot.
Yeah,
we all do. All right, let's do some NFL real quickly, fellas, and then let's do some games. We have about 10 minutes. Chop. Good baseball. Who doesn't love it? The New York Football Jets, one of the biggest mystery teams, if not the biggest mystery team of the season. Let's predict their record. I'll be the tiebreaker. Alex, we'll start with you, then go to Nick. Monday, September 11th, the Monday night game. Look at how many places it's being played. I'll zoom in a little bit here for the people. Wow, that schedule is tough. I'm just looking at the first couple of games.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up
they're over under on betonline.ag.
Over under, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, who's the opener?
Okay.
The Buffalo Bills.
At home.
I mean, we've been dogging Josh Allen recently, so
we have.
I think that they lose that game.
Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I still think the Bills are a very good team, Josh Allen aside.
So do I. I think they're probably the third or fourth team in the AFC. With Josh Allen aside, with Josh Allen. At Dallas.
This is a tough. Their over under is 9.5, by the way.
Okay.
I think we haven't done Dallas's over under yet, have we?
No.
Of course, this game scares me because Dallas playing Aaron Rodgers. A lot of history in Aaron Rodgers' favor there, but I think the Cowboys win this game too.
Nicholas?
Agreed.
I think the Cowboys. I'm in on the Cowboys this year. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
I am as well.
Home versus the Pats. Home versus the Chiefs.
They get their first win against the Pats, and I think they take an L versus the Chiefs.
I'm gonna agree there. I'm riding with Nick.
Just in case anyone was curious, I haven't disagreed so far, but I have not been needed. At Denver versus the defending NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles.
I think they come to Denver and they beat Denver, and I think they come back home and lose to Philly.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'll agree there. 2-4.
Yep, 2-4 head into the bye week. Guess who wins the bye week? Everybody's a winner. Oh wow, look at this schedule. It's a lot easier. Seeing a lot of games I like for them. All right, I guess on the road versus the Giants, but in New York, Giants.
I think they win that game.
I do too.
I think they're better than the Giants. I agree, and I think they have some growing pains. Home versus your Chargers, Nick. Monday night on ESPN. 1090.
I'm gonna give the Chargers a win here.
I'm gonna zag. I'm gonna give the Jets a win here.
I think the Chargers are better than the Jets, but I think
I do
the
too.
game being at home, I think the Jets get the win. But that's going to be an amazing game.
That'll be a good game.
Those are probably the two biggest wild card teams for me in them and the Dolphins or in the AFC. At Vegas, at Buffalo.
They go to Vegas and they win, and then they go to Buffalo and they lose.
Alex?
A true 1-1 split here. I'm riding with Nick.
All right, 5-5. Home versus the Dolphins. Home versus the Falcons. The shout out to their families. Home versus the Texans on my mother's birthday.
I think they go on a 3-game win streak here. They beat the Dolphins at home, they beat the Falcons at home, and they beat the Texans at home.
Triples of the W's.
All right, boys, talk to me. This is it. Like now we're talking. They're 8-5. It's getting hefty. At Miami, week 15.
I think they're losing in Miami, splitting against them.
I agree.
Love that. Okay, home on the birthday of your boy. Versus the Commanders.
Win. I think the Commanders are going to take a slight step back this season and not be very good.
I agree. I think they win this game.
All right, this is where the marbles are made.
So what are we? What's our record right now?
We are 9-6 heading into week 17 at Cleveland.
Win.
I think that they are going to win this game. Short week for both teams, but they have the benefit of playing against the Washington Commanders at home and then traveling to Cleveland. I do think that Cleveland is going to have a good second half this year. I actually believe that they will put together some much better football than we got to witness from them last year. But I like the Jets hitting the over in week 17 and getting their 10th win.
I think the Cleveland Browns are the worst team in their division. I just want to throw that out there really quickly. I watched the video and Kenny Pickett. I'm in on him. And I'm obviously in on the Ravens and the Banshees. So, all right. This could be for a wild card spot, or this could be for Bill Belichick's first top 10 pick in God knows how long, or this could be for Bill Belichick's job. At New England, Sunday, January 7th.
I think they lose this game.
I think they lose this game as well. I think this is a
Bill.
really, really important game, and I think Bill shows up with some tricky Mad Hatter schemes and beats the Jets and potentially staves them off from getting to the playoffs. And then Aaron Rodgers has his head in his hands and it's like, what am I doing? Why did I do this?
10-7, Jets missed the playoffs. Wow. I think you can miss the playoffs at 10-7.
Yeah, you could also make
it's not a guarantee. Yeah. It's not. I'm not saying like 10 is the win mark there, but I just think it's possible.
All right, guys. Let's play a game. Okay. Last time I did a game with Alex, it was name the team based off blank in 30 seconds. And last game I played with you, Nick, was name the player in 10 questions. Do you guys want to stay in your lanes, or do you guys want to flip-flop games?
Don't care. You pick for us.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Let's stay in our lanes. Stay in our lanes. Alex, You'll go first. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
You're gonna have 30 seconds
Mm-hmm.
to name as many teams as you can that have this color involved in their
Can
jersey.
Can I see the color? Am I able to know what the color is?
He's colorblind.
I'm gonna tell you. Yes. This is a color you can see. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. 30 seconds. As many teams as you can name that have the color logo jersey, as long as the color is involved. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With the color purple. 30 seconds starts now.
The Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Toronto Raptors. Purple is a tricky one. Kansas State Wildcats. Are they purple? Are they
Yep.
blue? Okay.
Yep.
Purple. You're
TCU, Horned Frogs. Purple.
time. 6.
That's. Phew.
LSU.
Tricky.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's tough.
Yes.
The
It's
Rockies.
the best. I love it when LSU, Rockies.
It's a lot of
Utah
like
Jazz.
outside of LSU and Utah. There's a lot of like trim. There's a lot of like purple trim involved.
You got all what you said counted.
Pelicans.
Pelicans aren't purple, are they? I thought they were
They
navy.
got a little purple in there for like their Mardi Gras
I
stuff.
would say your big misses are LSU, Rockies,
Yeah.
Utah
LSU's
Jazz.
Jazz have purple. I would say the Kings.
But they don't wear the Jazz and the Kings, but neither. Yeah,
The Kings.
The Kings is a bad one. Yeah. The Jazz's jerseys haven't been purple in like a second though, which is unfortunate because those purple ones are cool.
The purple ones are cool. All right, good, solid. Always a fun one.
LSU's tough though. That's a tough miss.
That's a tough one.
He's the king of the obscure and the jester of the obvious. Okay, Nick. You know how to play this one. This is 10 questions. 10 questions right now. Oh, we're a little bit out of time. But we'll play it.
Okay.
We'll play it nonetheless. I want to play a game with you. All right, 10 questions for a player in baseball. You know how to do it. Here we go.
Okay, is this player in the AL?
No.
Okay. Is this player in was this player an all-star this season?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so an NL all-star. Is this player a position player?
Yes.
Okay. Was this player the only all-star for his team?
No.
Okay. Is this player in the NL West?
Nope.
Okay. Is this player in the NL East?
Yep.
Okay.
4 more questions, including the guess.
Yeah, including
I
the
went.
guess.
I let you get away with it last time. The guess counts as a question.
No, it does not. When you
Toss
play
it.
20 questions, you're supposed to ask 20 questions. Then you.
No, is it this person as a guess?
Is a guess.
I don't believe that should be the last. All right, fine. Fine. Then I got 3 questions left. Hold on. I gotta look up the all-star roster. Let's see here. Is this player in the NL East?
Already asked that as the last question
Oh.
you asked. Yes.
You guys threw me off.
Sorry.
All right.
You're good.
Was this guy a starter? An all-star?
Let me look up. Yes.
Okay. Is this player on the Braves?
Yep.
Okay, I've got one more question, and then I've got to ask the player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotta be careful what I ask here. There's 3 Braves starters. Trying to like think of a question that knocks 2 guys out. Man.
So what's the list of like? It's a position player. He was an all-star starter for the
On the
Braves.
Braves.
Yeah.
Who are your options?
Arcia, Sean Murphy, and Ronald Acuna.
Okay.
I have an inkling, but was this player on the Braves last year?
No.
Is it Sean Murphy?
Correct.
Nice. Good question.
Does it in 10. Gentlemen, amazing show. Always a pleasure with both of you guys. Thank you. Thank you to listeners. Thank you to the viewers. We will see you guys next time. Hit your free throws because they're free.